Welcome back. I'm Civvie. I said I was going to switch trucks, but I forgot. We're going to drive the 5 Live drive. We're going from Rotterdam to somewhere in Austria. Kind of wish it'd tell me what. There we go. We're going to Klagenfurt in Austria. It's going to take us a bit, which is good, because this is part of my Civvie Takes Over Everything week. As you can see, Civvie's a very sexy man. And I forgot that this video contains face cam. So hold on, 1 second here. Oh, my controller just keeps falling off my leg. Boom! Face cam. Back to the game.
For me, because Zuma is learning all the time from Terry. Kale will overtake him at some point.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I just think tonight, you know,
it's weird that it does that. Here's having some little capture problems. I'm just gonna leave them in the video. See, no. You know, sometimes your truck's a little weird.
A result like
Alright, here we go.
And we
Let's go.
thoroughly deserve
New upgrades are available. So, here's what this video is all about. We're doing some more World of Trucks.
Yeah, I am. But this was coming.
We're gonna listen to the 5 Live drive,
February, March time last year. Sorry, it wasn't coming.
which
it came February, March time, and then we kept
could be interesting.
Summer off, rest up,
What the
league,
fuck?
And then the start of this season.
Oh man, this is game. Anyway, we need a few things to remember in the World of Trucks beta. You can only go 90, so it's gonna take us a bit to get there.
He seems to have lost an awful lot of confidence. He can't get himself around the pitch into the areas.
But since we're beta testing,
For Chelsea, to be quite honest with you, every time I've seen him,
we kind of gotta live our life like that.
Fabregas's problems going back to February, March.
I also noticed that it turned my map back on,
Which
is fine, I guess.
Was unaddressed over the summer, which led to them starting the season so poorly.
Well, I don't know. It was difficult to
Oh, this is going to be tough.
The end of the season, really, Andy, because they won the.
Let's give the 5 Live some more.
Didn't they? And sometimes there can be a tailing off, because obviously you come back at the start of the season, everyone's browbeating, saying, "Got to win the league, got to win the league, got to win the league."
More soccer
and when
talk.
You're
Oh
in
man.
Such an advantageous position around about February and March.
I'm
you know
rolling
you're
forward.
win it because no one else can catch you anyway.
Fuck
because
it,
they're not
go.
playing well enough. It's not unusual for teams just to tail off a little bit, but it has been a really strange thing. And now I may be wrong with this, but
we're recording pretty late in the day in Britain, so we should be all right for. Hopefully, there's no soccer games or anything. Hopefully, there's something interesting.
That tells you
we'll
something
see.
about it. But I do feel
I don't know what's going on with
the
this.
major thing is Costa. I think the thing with Costa is I don't believe he really wanted to come back to Chelsea this season. I don't know why.
Apparently this trailer's 19 tons.
And I think it can be a real handful off the pitch as well as on the pitch, and that's a real problem. And consequently, if you're
kicking the cruise control, and let's just
go. He just plays.
Yeah, so let's talk about what's going on. Nothing. I'm doing that Red Faction for all this week, so if you're watching this and you like Red Faction Gorilla, maybe check that out. It's nice that I fixed the crash, so it's not even crashing.
A fantastic achievement for us because
the hiss on this microphone. Man, you want to make me angry. Be a radio studio who calls in stuff. Just anything. I hate it. It's the worst. Especially if it's the radio studio doing it. It's like, oh, we've got someone on location. Deals. Is what they sound like to me. Come on. It's not like you're recording that live. And if you are, you shouldn't. But like, they should. It's not hard to record something, using one of those Rode mics.
Maybe it's a lucky year for us in the Champions League. You never know.
Maybe it's a lucky year, Tony, for you.
Use one of those Rode mics, like the video mic Mike Rowe, or whatever the newest one is. Use that. And then it's not hard. I don't want to blow your mind, but you can record stuff with your phone. You can take that recording, send it over the internet to the radio, and then the radio can play it through their, mixer. It's not hard.
Do you
Let's
feel it's special, or without weeing on your bonfire, I suppose? Do you worry that it's another false door?
It's the thing that makes me the most angry as a producer person. I mean, I got so angry about. I bothered Parker enough about it so that he would actually buy legitimate audio gear. So,
we could easily slip down into
it's not hard.
And then we'll have much tougher
I
fixtures. So,
our
if you look at the way
audio is kind of meh,
Arsenal should
especially the
always
Monday
get through
audio,
to the
man.
top 16, and then
Maybe I'm just too used to what I have for the Monday.
Andy Brassel alongside me, I think with English arrogance sometimes we look at who's qualified and then go, all right, well if you take Real Madrid and Barcelona out there, and obviously
like I'm used to my 80-20-20, and then on the Monday video I don't have that.
Zenit perhaps.
I'm trying to not have it.
Very, very poor defensive.
So I have to use what I got, and the audio isn't as good.
Andre Villas-Boas. But they've been very, very good in the Champions League. And I think a lot of people, including me actually, looked at them maybe not getting out of that group, and Leon and Valencia getting
totally did not see that guy.
It's a great achievement.
I guess that's what they call
I think there are some tough nuts in that.
A blind spot.
Coming into their very best form, finishing top of the group last night, was a real signal of their intent. I think there's a strong argument that they're better than Real Madrid this season, who of course are another possibility for Arsenal. So there are some difficult teams in.
Apparently I have my high beams on.
Just tweeted. I probably won't do this tweet justice, I wouldn't have thought, but no.
You have to sing it.
I'm not singing it. No,
you have to.
No, I can't. No, Giroud. It's roughly like that, isn't it, Tony?
Yeah, that was a cracking hat-trick this evening, wasn't it?
yeah, concentrate on the hat-trick rather than...
What's going on this channel, man? I don't know. Both this BBC channel and this YouTube channel. I don't know. We're just doing it. Definitely have to. Definitely have to rethink how we go about things so we don't have problems like this.
Well, thank you very much, Tony, for your call.
Although I guess it's not really a problem if every once in a while a guy just takes over the channel for a week.
Yes, obviously Arsenal have done extremely well tonight. It was a real team performance.
Although I would suspect we want.
And much is made about
we want. Every once in a while somebody take over, but not like all of the content.
Bellerin,
it's probably not for the best.
Monreal, Ramsey.
I was going to do some PSO stuff today, but unfortunately I missed the Christmas event.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you're missing Sanchez and Coquelin, aren't you?
This morning. I mean, there might have been one going on through the day, but I didn't check.
Yeah.
But a team that
too busy watching someone make
the last 16 of the Champions League 16 years in a row or 17 years in a row can hardly be moaning about a few injuries because we know they've got incredible resources available.
Make leather. Keep trying to say chainmail, but it's not. I make chainmail. He makes leather. Leatherwork stuff. I want to make more leatherwork stuff, but
overall, what was he like?
I need to get that money.
Yeah, satisfied, Mark, as you can imagine. I've just been sitting there in the press conference room. I said to him, is this one of your, right up there with your great European results? And he said, yes, it is. But a couple of interesting things. The questions on the individual players were obviously about Giroud and about Joel Campbell. But on
Sir,
Giroud,
I need you to drive faster. I don't care if this is someone's city.
We don't often see
Do it, go!
Penalties, do we? Although he was on a hat-trick, wasn't he? But he said he was on the list to be the #1 penalty taker for this match. Walcott was #2, Ramsey was #3, but he said he took it well. He said he practiced in training and was...
Getting tired already? Still got lots of videos to do. We gotta do this whole drive.
Giroud to score a header, to be involved in the combination for the second goal, and then to score the penalty. And he talked about the character. But almost more interestingly, on Joel Campbell, who was obviously here at Olympiacos, so there were interested Greek questions about Joel Campbell. He said that he's always been a good player individually, but he said he's a real
some corners
team
here, so
player.
I'm gonna have to slow
We
down.
know that that's what really floats Arsene Wenger's boat, doesn't it? Someone who can contribute to the team. And he says he's now reached an age, he's 23 now, where he's becoming a rounded footballer. And he spoke as well,
23
earlier in the program,
and a footballer.
about the loans that he's been on: Lorient, Real Betis, here at Olympiacos, Villarreal. He said that also coming from Costa Rica, his background there, he said, don't underestimate him. He's a tough player. And I think over the course of the last month, 6 weeks, his progress has been rapid.
And the other thing, Mark, with him, he's one of those strange players, the 2 or 3 times I've seen him live, who actually runs quicker with the ball than without it.
Let me read some texts and tweets on the big managerial news of the day, which is Gary Monk sacked by Swansea.
Why is this all sports? Is it just right now is their usual sports hour and I've never been here before?
And if he'd hit that target, allow him to spend cash in January and we'd be back on form. Ian says sadly results didn't go his way.
Yes, income.
Even though his team played
Only $1,000 from that driver. Man, I have so many drivers now.
Swansea fans this evening.
I think the last video I
they would
filled
doubt
up
that the team
another one, so I'm at like 5 sets of 5.
That Boney wasn't replaced and players have not responded.
Where it's actually like I'm just driving for fun now. My drivers earn more per timeout than I do.
Very sad.
Why?
Well, I think the man has done over the years. The man has tried. From training as a player, captain, he's got ourselves right up to the.
I wonder if we'll still be behind this guy once we get on the highway here.
How can I explain that? He's held the team together. He's formed a nice team together. They bought some damn good players.
He's gonna keep going.
In with each other.
All right, I'll see you later, man.
A month ago, when he was in the papers, that the press, the managing board would have wanted him to have an aide to help him. Now, with Rogers being out of work at the time, I thought they might have had sounded him out, talked to him behind the scenes.
We gotta take our next nap spot, apparently.
I thought those two working together would have been absolutely brilliant, and I think Monk would have worked with him. I just don't understand why just get rid of him when it's the players at the end of the day that haven't done their job.
But Clive, do you think that that's one of the things that Monk has struggled with this season? Obviously, Swansea.
Clive is a really old world name.
They've got some big players in, like Andre Ayew, of course, has played for a huge club in Marseille. But do you think managing those egos is something problematic for a guy who's 36, even if he does know the club incredibly well?
Here we go.
I think so, because
36, he might as well be dead.
The other day,
here we go, some parking. Can we sleep there?
Yes. In all fairness to him. They were the only 2 players that seemed to be wanting to gee up the players. The other players, all they wanted to do was to play up to the halfway line,
I guess we should probably slow down.
Goalkeeper the halfway line, and that just seemed about it. I mean, I would have preferred if they'd done the old long ball system and just shoved the ball into the box and see what the forwards can do. But there was just no forward attack whatsoever.
Who would you like to be your next manager?
I honestly don't know. I honestly do not know, because in all fairness to Monk, he's done a brilliant job.
Apparently I can't park here.
His movement, but I thought they would have given him another game or 2, or at least till Christmas, see how it goes. That's just one of those things in life, isn't it?
Clive, thank you very much for your call. Mark, if we're saying that the dressing room hasn't been great, and there are a lot of egos, and the players have let him down, given that a lot of Swansea's appointments have been quite clever and maybe inexperienced managers.
Kenneth couldn't find a job. Oh, what a jerk.
Not necessarily Michael Laudrup.
Doesn't he know that it costs money?
When they were appointed, not the most experienced.
Brendan Rodgers,
do you think they might need to go down a different path and appoint somebody with more experience this time?
I'm not sure that they do, Mark. I really don't think so.
I was hoping
we said at the top
that
of the
easy.
programme as well.
Apparently not.
Everyone's in agreement that the players need to look at themselves.
All the other drivers here are like, what is this guy doing?
Gomez, Ayew, Sigurdsson, Shelvey, all those kind of players.
That's what drove into the back of that guy.
Players. It just sounds like they need a bit of a rocket up them. So, and the thing about it, the new manager comes in. Let me put it this way: will you be surprised at, let's say, the middle of February if Swansea aren't about 11th, 12th?
Let's have a nap.
At worst?
You're getting some rest.
I wouldn't be.
No.
And also,
All right,
as
let's
well,
go.
a little bit cynical, are there 1 or 2 contracts up at the end of the season? Or 1 or
They
2
gave me
playing
12
for the
hours to do
contract?
this one. The last
Quite a few of these players
last
on
one was
3 or
only
4
6
year
hours.
contracts in the first year, and very, very comfortable. Thank you very much indeed. I think therein lies the problem for me, not the manager.
And as far as who might
100 out of
replace
town.
him goes,
Unfortunately, I can only do
Andy Brassel,
90.
Just looking at the Guardian this evening, who are reporting that
Need
Hugh
gas?
Jenkins
Nah, let's go.
has got someone lined up.
Wasted too much time trying to find a parking spot.
Right. Stuart James reports that they're planning to make a
That guy just earned $10,000.
And some of the names under consideration.
Like I said,
include,
we've
Dennis Bergkamp.
we've earned
It's my understanding that he's quite happy being
like
number 2 and
100
being a
grand
bit
since we
publicity
started
shot
playing.
at Ajax. Gus Poyet, who's only just taken over at AEK Athens, as we heard from John Murray earlier, and Mark Warburton was another who was put out there.
Although that's strictly not overseas.
Right.
No, exactly.
Let's go.
But apart from that, it's all going really well.
Just a little bit over the border. Let's definitely now go overseas. Valencia beaten this evening by Lyon. So Gary Neville's first game ending in defeat.
Man,
The side
football.
now in the Europa
I don't know,
League.
man.
Let's hear from the new manager.
I thought we got control of the game more with Javi and Danny in there, but it just didn't quite come for us the moment that we needed just to get back in the game. I felt if we'd have scored on around 60 minutes.
Yep.
I
We'd
think at that
scored
time
around
Danny
an
must
hour.
have scored.
You know.
It felt like the whole stadium, that extra impetus and adrenaline would have thrown through the players, but then the counter-attack came, the sucker punch. I've seen it as a player, and I've now seen it as a manager. You know, the counter-attack, the way you have to run back to your own goal, and it was a clinical finish. But from my point of view, I didn't feel stressed at all. I don't feel stressed now. To
I
me,
feel
that's
pretty
not
stressed right
you know,
now.
Stress is real life when you have real life situations. I think that from my point of view, to come in here and talk about stress would be the wrong thing to do. I don't feel that way. I'm disappointed. I'll obviously in the next few days evaluate what went
It's a little
on
close to the wall
the
there.
decisions that were made, the changes that I made during the
Slow
game,
down
and
too.
how I could
Because
have
we
done
gotta
anything
make a
different. But that's
gotta make a
again
corner.
something that's normal for me when I'm, you know, when we're looking
We'll
at
just
any
slow
team.
down the hard way.
Well, without stating the obvious, Mark Lawrenson, he's going to need time as well.
This game's a lot different when you have to drive 90 rather than just drive 130 the whole time.
Mark, as well. The other way around, it'll be, oh, we're absolutely fantastic. He's done a magnificent job, and then he go and lose at the weekend in La Liga. Listen, it's going to take him time just to know about his players. That's the important thing. It's also going to take him time, you would imagine, even with Phil being there, Phil Neville, to know what his best team is going to be. An interesting time, but Negredo on, which obviously he wasn't one of Jorge Mendes's.
Hadn't even gear down. Look at
players,
that.
was he? So you know, the agent. So listen, just give him some time. I think he'll be absolutely fine. He's got a real chance because they're actually a good side, Valencia. So they should certainly, I would have thought, finish in the
Too busy
top
looking
5
at
or
myself.
6. And then who knows after that, at the end of the season, going forward, what exactly is
Yeah,
going
I think
to
the
happen. But I tell you what,
next trip out,
we'll
we're gonna
learn
switch back to my
something
Volvo.
every single
I like the
day.
Volvo
And
better.
I would always say, as
I just like
a
the dash
manager,
better.
when you win, it's
That digital
far more
dash.
enjoyable
Hot.
than as a player, because you are actually responsible.
Eventually I'll get that
for, say,
Scandinavian
if you bring
DLC.
3 subs on,
We can go up there.
14 of your players actually, and you just it's culpable in terms of the difference between winning as a player and winning as a manager.
It's really
Although
about lifting
World of
spirits
Trucks
for
only
them at
does
moment,
the base
because
game right
I
now.
think it's pretty clear that morale is on the floor. Goal scoring is a problem, and I agree, Mark, that bringing back Negredo. I mean, it's kind of a bit desperate tonight because Gary Neville said himself in recent days that Negredo isn't fit enough. He's been out of the squad because he fell out with Nuno, the previous coach, and he needs working on. But they need that focal point up front. You know, they scored 5 goals in 6 Champions League games, and 2 of those were own goals. So it's pretty clear where their problems lie. It's been a problem in La Liga as well. So that's something he's going to have to work on pretty quickly. And you know what? He hasn't got much of a winter break to do it either, because there's a gap between the 20th and the 30th of December, which is when the second game, the first game after Christmas, is played in Spain, and they play again on the 2nd and 3rd. So he's got a lot of work to do. And very quickly.
Only got 90 seconds.
Is it hot enough in Spain to
very quickly.
play?
How could Valencia
Like,
get
does it
themselves
not
in such a
snow in
mess where
Spain?
an agent had the manager in situ, and also was in
I guess
charge
it
of,
is,
10
like,
of the
much closer
players?
to
I
the
mean,
equator
what
than I
on
think.
earth is all that about agents running football clubs?
Well, it's just the basis of how they were taken over. Peter Lim and George Mendes.
I'm just so used to North America where it snows almost everywhere.
They asked many questions at the beginning because they were so glad not to be on the brink of extinction anymore.
Let's end with Patrick Jackson's question. Which English side do you think will go furthest in the Champions League? Mark?
Maybe driving with one hand is a bad plan. Kind of wish I had a wheel for this game.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of those
You
games I
sound
just kind of
surprised.
wish.
No, I do. And listen, a lot depends on the. Listen, the thing about City, you just don't know. With
But nope,
Manchester
just got
City
this
at the moment
controller.
which City
We're
turn
just
up.
earning
If
more
you've got
money.
Cook in the side in the Champions League,
Every
got
time
a
I
real
look down,
chance.
more money.
I'm
Harold
having
T
just a little punt that I think
has
Arsenal
leveled up.
might go further.
Andy?
I have to say City now, don't I?
John?
You don't
I have a lot of
to.
those guys on like
John
balanced
wants
or
it.
something like that.
In a Lawrenson style, I'll have a little punt on it being Chelsea.
Right, just so that one team has been covered by each
After
of
you,
you.
Claude.
It's
Yeah,
after you,
yeah.
Claude, isn't it?
Because that's what Chelsea will have to play for.
Can I just say, chappers,
yeah.
by the way, I went first. Just remember that.
You
What does
did
that
go
sound?
first. And
Yeah,
the
thanks.
final
Is that the end of
conclusion, you've
this?
got 10 seconds, John. But
Yeah, it
when we
must be
thought
the end
we
of
could have
this
lost 3 out of 4 English
section.
sides from the Champions League tonight, we now have 3 out of 4.
I need you on my
Yes,
left
we were
here
all
to drive a
praised
little
Workwood
faster
to
so I
be
can pass this
so
other guy.
negative and downbeat about the whole thing, but there we are. Plenty to look forward to in the last 16.
Pass all these
league
other
in the
trucks.
world.
Oh man, I'm happy I did.
Here's Phil Williams.
Gentlemen, thank you. There's further flooding this evening as we speak in the
Ah, more
town
flooding.
of Glenridding near Ullswater. Pictures on social media of fridge
Oh no, I
freezers
need to get into
floating
that other
along.
lane.
Reports that the water is as high as 3 feet. The police
That
have
is
urged people
high
not
water.
to go to that area in their cars because it's not safe. And police, military and firefighters are currently trying to evacuate those who are affected by this new flooding in Glenridding. Details to come.
It's a bad time to be
First
flooding
for breaking
too.
news and the best live sport. This is BBC 5 Live.
10:30 on Wednesday evening. It's Phil Williams here with you on 5 Live. This is the late news hour.
And the main news on 5 Live, more flooding in Cumbria.
And in sport, it's been a great night for both Arsenal and Chelsea in the Champions League.
As you, the in short section of the website, which you can find at bbc.co.uk/5live, you can hear my interview with Hollywood legend Burt Reynolds discussing, amongst other things, why he turned down the chance to play James Bond.
This is BBC 5 Live.
With the very latest BBC News on 5 Live. Next, Nick Hatfield.
Thank you, Phil. Good evening. Cumbria police say a river in the already flooded village
Tell me
of
the news.
Glenridding has overtopped defences again. The police and army are moving people to safety. Earlier, George
Army,
Osborne
man.
announced a £50
Gotta call in the
million
fucking
fund
army.
to help families
Some
and
shit.
businesses in Cumbria and Lancashire. A report commissioned by NHS England claims a health trust has not investigated the unexpected deaths of more than 1,000 patients since 2011. Southern Health, one of the country's largest mental health trusts, says it has serious concerns about how the evidence was assessed. Human remains have been found in a garden in Luton by police investigating the disappearance of a woman 12 years ago. 50-year-old Natalie Doherty was last seen in Eastbourne in 2003. 2 men have been arrested on suspicion of murder. A draft agreement has been published by delegates at climate change talks in Paris. The 2-week UN summit is aimed at agreeing a deal to cut carbon emissions. And more than 330,000 people have now signed a petition calling for Donald Trump to be banned from entering the UK. It follows comments by the Republican presidential hopeful about Muslims. Helen Smith has the sport.
Both Arsenal and Chelsea are through to
Can
the
you
last
ban a
16
man
of the
from
Champions League.
coming to your
Olivier
country?
Giroud scored a hat-trick as Arsenal beat Olympiacos
Is it legal to
3-0
ban a man?
in Athens, and Chelsea qualified
If he's done
as
nothing
group
wrong,
winners after
he's
beating
just
Porto
a
2-0
blowhard?
at Stamford Bridge. It wasn't such a good
I don't know how
night for
Britain
former
works.
England and Manchester United
Maybe if
defender
the Queen
Gary
said so.
Neville, though. His
Yes.
first game in charge of Valencia
And
ended
so
in
I
defeat.
decree.
The Spanish club lost 2-0 to Leon. Elsewhere, Swansea City
Donald
are on the
Trump
lookout
shall
for a
not
new
come to
manager
my
after
tea party.
sacking Gary Monk. The club have won just one
Take
of their
that,
last
Trump.
11 games.
You're not invited to the
BBC
Queen's
has
tea
learned
party.
that the IAAF's awarding of the 2021 World Athletics Championships to Eugene is being investigated by French prosecutors. The US city, which is closely associated with the sportswear giant Nike, was controversially given the event without the usual bidding process. Olympic long jump champion Greg Rutherford says he has changed his mind about pulling out of the BBC Sports Personality of the Year awards.
Sounds about right.
Comments made by
Usually you
Ferrari
change your
owner
mind about
Tyson
pulling out.
Fury. Rutherford
Oh, I'm
has
gonna pull out.
confirmed that he will attend
Nah.
the event in Belfast later this
Ugh.
month. And Bath has
Sorry,
signed
baby.
Wales and Lions back row
You want a
Toby
pill?
Faletau for the next season. Both the Welsh Rugby Union and his former club, Newport Gwent Dragons, say the move is disappointing.
This is BBC 5 Live.
That's what I would say if I had any lady
and
friends,
tablet.
but I don't.
Look out the weather, more rain,
It's just me and
sometimes
you,
heavy in
viewer.
the north will move south overnight.
It's driving
It'll feel cold
trucks.
in some places, and we could
Peeing
see
in bottles.
snow over northern hills. Windy as well, and then Thursday the band of rain will continue slowly south
my
during
gas.
the day.
Halfway,
reaching southern England
a little
by
bit
the
more.
afternoon.
You keep
Cold
going.
elsewhere with sunshine and blustery showers.
5 Live Breakfast.
With Nikki Campbell and Rachel Burden.
The age of people involved in cybercrime is getting younger. New analysis from the National Crime Agency shows that over the last year, the average age of suspects has dropped to 17.
When we say cybercrime, we are talking about hacking, DDoS attacks, when you flood
DDoS
a web
attacks,
server
yeah.
with traffic to make it stop working.
I mean,
can
these
see
are,
that.
in many cases, very bright, talented young people, aren't they?
Correct. We want to get parents to understand how they can work with their children to get them to use their skills for positive reasons instead.
5 Live Breakfast.
Get
up to all the latest news, sport,
get their
travel,
family
and weather.
to stop fucking being jerks.
The late news hour. With Phil Williams on 5 Live.
10:34 Wednesday evening.
10:34,
Good evening.
oh, man.
Welcome to the late news
It's not
hour. Within the
10:34.
last half an hour, police, military and firefighters have rushed to Glenridding near Ullswater in Cumbria, which is facing further flooding tonight. Cumbrian police say the Glenridding Beck River, located at the southern end of Ullswater, just off the A592, has burst its banks on two sides, with BBC Cumbria reporting this evening water up to 3 feet deep in places. Cumbria police have urged people to stay indoors and not drive unless it's absolutely necessary. Let's speak to
I need some ice cream.
Craig
It's
Brown,
absolutely
who-
necessary.
His family runs the Glenridding mini market. Craig, thanks for talking to us. I've seen some of your pictures tonight on social media of property that you evacuated first time round, just literally flooding away as if it's in a river.
Yeah, well, it was like that on Saturday, and then the amazing locals managed to get it back into a shop, and it all went outside, and then today, after about 6 hours of constant rain, it's just all gone again. So.
How bad is it right now?
Well, it's worse than it was at its highest on Saturday. It must be at least 3 foot inside and outside the shop now. So.
And where are you speaking to us from at the moment?
From my house next door.
Right, so you're safe, are you?
Yes, I'm safe.
And the advice to you is to stay where you are, is it?
Yeah, the fire have checked on us and we're fine, so we'll only leave if really necessary.
Have you seen other people needing to be evacuated nearby?
Well, we're the worst affected street in the village, and at the moment we're all high up enough, so we're all okay.
How does it feel to have this happen so soon after you were only cut off at the weekend?
Well, it's unbelievable, really. We're all starting to get back to normal, and then it just suddenly hits you again. So.
And up until tonight,
I hope they all have insurance.
Lost already
It's really bad. That's why when you're a homeowner, you should have
The shop
insurance.
has lost every single cabinet, and most of the stock was damaged, and now that's all gone because it was all sitting outside waiting for the insurance company. So it's not good.
So the street you're in, then no one's had to be evacuated yet. But have you seen police and military and firefighters there? What are they doing?
Yeah, well, I can see a whole barrage of vehicles and people and lights over away from our house, but they're all just waiting there in case we need them because there's nothing they can actually do to stop it. So it's
Keep driving. Keep driving, you fuck.
Is there still a chance you might have to evacuate your home then?
I'd say it's a slim chance because we're on the first floor rather than on the ground floor, so I think we'll be okay.
Some people have had to leave their homes, and
There's a fun thing, fun
bar
difference
in
between
Glenridding and
American
Gary Wilson
English
joined us
and
there. Hi,
British
Gary.
English.
Hi, how you doing?
So you've become a bit of a refuge, have you?
The first floor
the other side. It's
in
the
a
the
North
conservatory
American
opened up
home
because the Ramblers bar
is
now
what
set
they
up as
might
a
call
shop
the
for
ground floor.
People to pick up provisions during the day because nobody can obviously get to supermarkets. So.
Where are you in relation to Craig then, and Craig?
Just over the road, basically, over the road to the left. So we're all up and running and functional. So we're very lucky. But it's just devastating to see other businesses, obviously close friends, people we've known a lot of years, just suffering like this after they'd worked so hard over the last 2 days to get things cleaned up and ready.
Don't cry, man. You're on the BBC. You're on the 5 Live Drive. No need to cry.
So tonight, it's just devastating, really. Heartbreaking.
Yeah, I can only imagine. How many people are with you?
Well, I'm in the offices at the moment, but they're all coming in and out. We had about 20 people in at one point. We just made them soup and rolls and tea and coffee, got them towels, give them a room to get showered in, just keeping them warm. So, and obviously the emergency services we're keeping open for them so they can towel down or get something to drink or something to eat.
Have you been quite lucky there to hold on to your power then this evening?
Yeah, but we've got emergency backup generators, so we're okay.
Emergency backup generators, man. You're
we're okay.
prepared.
I don't want to say we're lucky. It just doesn't seem fair to be saying things like that when other people are suffering around you. But we're okay at the moment.
And what had you achieved, Gary, in the run-up to this? Because obviously you must have been affected at the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we were affected as far as...
Almost at 200,000K.
We're quite set back from the lake.
200,000K, what?
Back from the road, so it was our sellers that...
$200,000.
We can work around that, but...
Or euros. I guess those are euros, aren't they? Yeah, they are.
The village. That's been our job, to look after the village and the emergency services. I mean, these are our friends, you know, people we know. We've all worked around here a lot.
How's our gas? Halfway? You could probably get some.
It's just very, very sad, so we're just helping wherever we can.
Give us a sense, Gary, of Glenridding as a place. You know, how small is it? Because you keep saying it's a village. For those who have got no idea, just give us a rough idea.
It's a very small village. It's got 2 shops, a pub, you know, and it's got a lovely little privately owned gallery, and it's a very, very close knit community. And just the last
that is a small
3-4
village.
days, everybody's come together, and it's just been amazing.
That sort of thing is something that can happen when you have a tiny country like Britain, unlike Canada, where it's like, oh, you know, there's like multiple hours in between cities or towns.
And then the fells are just so saturated. It just came down the fells into the beck, and it burst the banks of the beck again. And then to see these poor people suffering again, it's just not nice.
What can you see at the moment then, Gary, if anything, from your office?
Well, basically I can just see the blue lights and all the vehicles. Obviously the emergency services, because the water was running at such a pace, they don't want people around there, they don't want people on the bridge. You know, they're interested in their safety, and that's why they've not evacuated anybody out of those premises, because they're a floor up and the water is running so fast. I think they just think it's better that they stay where they are for now. But it's all about public safety at the moment.
Well, yeah, it is better.
Craig, you know each other.
Where else are you going to put him?
Yes, we know each other.
Yeah.
And a similar picture for you, Craig, about how the community has come together.
Oh yeah, well, we've all heard of community spirit, but this really put it into picture how they managed to help everybody. It's amazing.
And what will you do now, Craig? I mean, you know, I've seen on social media just the extraordinary picture of some fridge freezers you cleared from your shop at the weekend that have floated off.
Yeah,
no.
They're long gone, I think. So I don't know. We'll just have to hope the rain eventually stops and then start all over again tomorrow.
Well, listen, gents, we'll get you a weather forecast very shortly on 5 Live. John Hamill will join us from the BBC Weather Centre, and hopefully he'll be able to shed some more light on what else is in store for you in the next few hours. But thank you for talking to us tonight. To Craig Brown, whose family runs the Glenridding Mini Market, and Gary Wilson, who is providing shelter through the Ramblers Bar and the conservatory at the back of their place in Glenridding. With a backup power supply, they've become a refuge for those people who've been cut off because of this latest flooding. Reports from our colleagues at BBC
that flooding
suggest
sounds real bad, Coach.
Evening. Let's speak to Judith, who is also in Glenridding tonight. Hi, Judith.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, tell us your experience of tonight.
Let's find out more about the flooding tomorrow. Unless you're listening to the BBC right now, in which you already know. But I need to split for now. Tomorrow we'll continue. Well, right now for me, and for people watching through the playlists, we're going to continue. But for now, I'm Civvie, and I'm signing out.